Hey guys, welcome to the next installment of Film Stock Tryouts, hashtag Film Stock Tryouts. I'm Darren, and yeah, let's go at it. So this week I'll be doing my thoughts on Their Original Mirage. It's a reanimated film, and what they do is I think they take Kodak Gold 200 and then they have some kind of reanimation process where they warp or do some chemical processing that warps the colors a little bit and gives it a bit of a color cast. So they've got a few different stocks, and I've tried out two of them, the Mirage and Moonstruck, so that might be the next one or later on. But yeah, anyway, so just first things first, let's try get this concise. So my thoughts, exposure latitude, the exposure latitude of this film, of Kodak Gold, which is the base film, is pretty good, but with this, the reanimated film, it seems to handle about half a stop to 3/4 of a stop overexposure pretty well, maybe even a bit more, but underexposure doesn't really handle well. It seems to break apart pretty easily and then wash out. It gets like a grayish blue haze just across the whole shot. So in some of the images that you'll see coming across the screen, you'll see that when underexposed, it does look a little bit blue-gray, and the contrast just kind of disappears. Sharpness, it's pretty sharp if correctly exposed, and I mean, I think that's because it's Kodak Gold as the base. I'm pretty sure, I don't have the film canister here with me to sneak a peek underneath, but I'm pretty sure it's Kodak Gold that's reanimated. And Kodak Gold is pretty sharp. You can see also in some of the images, but if underexposed, the sharpness disappears and it kind of just falls apart. And then contrast, it's got mid to fair contrast if correctly exposed. I think you can see a trend happening here. If underexposed, it just seems to cloud over, like I said, with a bluish grey haze. And then grain, it's got a pretty nice looking grain that is pleasing, and it doesn't break apart the image apart, and adds to the reanimation color warm spread across the image. If you'll see in some of the images as they go slide through, you'll see that like the warm reds, the contrast kind of helps it graduate across the image, and it's not as harsh and solid, and I think that the grain looks pretty good. And that also could be because it's a Kodak Gold base, and Kodak Gold grain is also really pleasing. So anyway, my thoughts, sorry if I'm just looking here a little bit to my right, I'm just trying to keep track of my thoughts. My mind goes at 1 gajillion miles an hour. So yeah, from the roll I shot, it seems that it has a bit of a red streak stretching down the side, the left side of most of my images that were correctly exposed, with a complementary bluish cast that fills out the remainder of the image. So it will have a bit of red going across the one side, and then like the rest of the image has a bit of a bluish cast to it. Although if well exposed and nailing focus, most of the sharp areas seem to retain their own colors with a little bit of blue, like almost like an overcast, like a cloudish haze maybe. So it doesn't really get into the colors of the photo, it kind of washes over, so it's almost like a wash, a color wash. And yeah, I think it's really cool what Kono are doing, creating unique and interesting reanimated film, and I'm all for it. That's what I think is often the beauty about shooting film, is that we as photographers do our very best to get to nail the scene, to get everything, the exposure, the framing, everything, composition, to like just nail it and try to get it as we want. We have a vision for it, but sometimes those happy accidents, the light leaks or slight color casts because of whatever happens to the film and the chemicals, that's just, those happy accidents can be really, really beautiful and show what life is. Life is not perfect. Every moment is not curated exactly how we want it. We have things that happen, and sometimes they can be beautiful and sometimes not so much. So yeah, I enjoy the film, and I think I'll try and shoot it some more. My best use cases, so I shot it during the day at the fair, and it was a pretty sunny day with some decent contrast in the light, and I think portraits could be really cool and quite interesting if shot on this with a decent sharp lens, maybe even a telephoto lens to get that compression. That might look quite nice. Perhaps shooting wide open with a bit less light, maybe dusk or dawn, might be pretty interesting as well. I also thought that maybe long exposure light trails at dawn or dusk could be quite interesting, and I mean, just to experiment, to go out and make stuff. So basically what I'm saying is go out with a roll of Kono, Mirage, or whatever else Kono makes, and just make stuff, see what happens, and share your amazing reanimations with me on Instagram, Threads, or by carrier pigeon. However, just share your work and let's be inspired by one another. And the last thing I'd love to do is to share a secret. It's a secret phrase that shows you guys stayed to the end of the video or skipped to the end. And that phrase is, the world needs more people like me. So if you comment that, I'll know you stuck around till the end of my babbling, and I deeply appreciate that, and I may even find some ways to reward that. So let me know if you stuck around. It really means a lot to me. So yeah, thanks guys for sticking through and encouraging me just by watching this to the end. Remember, the world needs more people like you. So as always, just keep making stuff and be blessed. Cheers guys.